Donald Trump believed he was making a routine political attack. A soundbite. A threat. Another headline that would dominate the news cycle for a few days. What he didn't realize was that he had just activated one of the most sophisticated, coordinated, and devastating financial responses ever launched against the United States. Not by a superpower. Not by a military alliance. But by Jamaica. And more importantly, by the global Jamaican diaspora. This is not a story about sanctions. This is not about protests or diplomacy. This is the story of financial warfare, and how a nation the world underestimated triggered a $780 billion economic shock that rattled Wall Street, terrified Washington, and rewrote the rules of global power. Number 1. The fatal misread. For decades, global politics has operated on a dangerous assumption that small nations are weak, that islands are dependent, that diaspora communities are fragmented and powerless. Trump made that same assumption. He believed Jamaica was a minor player, economically dependent, politically vulnerable, and easy to pressure. What he failed to understand was one crucial truth: Jamaica does not end at its shoreline. Jamaica exists in New York, London, Toronto, Miami, Atlanta, Dubai. Its people are embedded in global finance, pension fund management, banking, law, entertainment, logistics. This was not an insult to a country. It was an insult to a global financial network. And that network was already prepared. Number 2. Project IY Shield. The response was not emotional. It was not loud. It was silent and surgical. Within weeks, private meetings began. No press releases. No public statements. Just closed-door strategy sessions between pension fund managers, investment strategists, banking executives, currency traders, legal scholars. This operation had a name: Project IY Shield. Its goal was simple: to demonstrate that economic power no longer belongs only to governments. And the first phase targeted America's most sensitive nerve. Number 3. The pension fund exodus. Most people don't understand this. The United States survives on borrowed money. Treasury bonds are the backbone of America's economy. And a massive portion of those bonds are held by foreign institutions. Pension funds. Diaspora investment vehicles. Jamaican-linked pension funds operating across the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, collectively manage over $500 billion. These funds didn't panic sell. They executed a phased, mandatory divestment from U.S. Treasury bonds, defense contractors, big tech firms, pharmaceutical corporations aligned with Trump-era policies. The effects were immediate. Bond yields spiked. Market volatility surged. U.S. officials rushed to reassure investors. For the first time in modern history, America faced the possibility of losing reliable buyers of its debt. This wasn't symbolic. This was structural. Number 4. Wall Street feels the pressure. As capital slowly exited, something changed. Liquidity tightened. Borrowing costs increased. Volatility became the new normal. This wasn't a crash. It was worse. A controlled drain. Companies delayed expansion. Hiring froze. Investments stalled. Consumers felt it through higher interest rates, more expensive credit, rising uncertainty. This is how financial pressure works. Not all at once. but relentlessly. Number 5. The remittance black hole. Then came the move no economist predicted. Remittances. Every year, Jamaicans abroad send over $3.5 billion back home. That money feeds families, pays school fees, keeps clinics open, sustains entire communities. For 1 month, formal remittance channels were halted. The impact was immediate. Businesses slowed. Households tightened spending. Communities felt the shock. But here's what the headlines missed: that money didn't vanish. It pooled. It accumulated. And it became something else entirely. Number 6. The war chest. That pooled capital was transformed into a strategic financial reserve. A war chest. Its mission: to challenge U.S. financial dominance from within the system. Currency traders in Kingston and across the Caribbean began executing coordinated positions against the U.S. dollar. Not recklessly. Professionally. Methodically. This wasn't about collapsing the dollar. It was about reminding the world that dollar dominance is conditional. For the Caribbean, this marked a turning point. Economic self-determination was no longer theoretical. It was operational. Number 7. Building the financial firewall. For years, U.S. banks engaged in de-risking, cutting off Caribbean businesses overnight. One letter. One decision. Economic devastation. Project IY Shield anticipated this. Emergency liquidity systems were deployed. Local banking alternatives were strengthened. Regional settlement mechanisms were activated. Suddenly, businesses could process payments. Payrolls were protected. Trade continued. This wasn't rebellion. It was resilience. Number 8. The intellectual property offensive. Then the battle shifted. From finance to culture. Jamaica's influence on global culture is undeniable. Reggae. Dancehall. Language. Identity. Yet for decades, corporations trademarked Jamaican expressions. Now legal teams moved to reclaim them. Petitions were filed to revoke trademarks on phrases like, "One love, no problem." At the same time, a global royalty audit was launched. Streaming platforms. Music distributors. Decades of contracts. The findings were explosive. Unpaid royalties. Underreported earnings. Systematic extraction. For the first time, the global music industry faced the possibility of hundreds of billions in restitution claims. Number 9. The bauxite embargo. And finally, the most devastating move of all. Bauxite. Jamaica is a top 5 global producer. Without bauxite, no aluminum. No aircraft frames. No military hardware. An indefinite export moratorium was announced. For U.S. defense and aerospace contractors. Supply chains froze. Timelines collapsed. The message was unmistakable. Conclusion. The real lesson. Washington was stunned. Because they misunderstood the modern world. Power is no longer centralized. It's distributed. Networked. Global. Trump thought he picked a fight with an island. He picked a fight with a financial civilization. This is the blueprint. This is how nations fight back in the 21st century. No missiles. No armies. Just money, unity, and strategy. And the aftershocks? They're only beginning.